Ta-da! HRap is back. Now, as I said, you know what? I might as well give y'all the intro while allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Rap, H to the R-A-P. Y'all the intro. Oh, there it is. Yep. I'm back. I'm resending out the notifications. Holla at your boy. I don't know what happened. YouTube shut me down temporarily. Okay. Let me send out something else. Whatever. We finna get it in. Whatever. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all over again, folks. And what I'm gonna do is let y'all know this is the End of the Bench podcast. I see people are coming in. Patar's back. Thank you for tuning in, Patar. We had some technical difficulties, Patar. People on the Spreaker.com side, thank y'all for tuning in. Angie, man, love for the support. It usually ain't this janky, Angie. Wait, I used the video that I couldn't use, people. And YouTube said, no, you're not going to do that on our time. You're not going to do that on our watch. So they shut the YouTube page down. But this is the End of the Bench podcast on Built for This Network on Spreaker.com. I am HRap B. Y'all already know that. If you are tuning in on the Spreaker side, I need you to hit the like button. After you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. After you hit the like and subscribe, I need you to hit the share button. After you hit the like, subscribe, and share, keep your ears on because HRap B is in the place to be. As y'all saw, look, even though that video has been removed, but even though, ain't that about nothing? You can show, but I ain't tripping. Y'all got me. Whatever. But this is what we're going to do. As jacked up of a day as I've had, it seems like I should be mad, angry right now, but I'm not. I see my man Jess Joe in the building. Look, Spreaker.com is the home. YouTube is the place. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the share button, tell a friend to tune in. Tonight, I have special guests, my sister Charlotte, my brother Rated Kevin, my main man, my brother Trey Mack. He's in the building at all times. Much love to my brother, Trey Mack, one of the dopest MCs in America, one of the dopest individuals in America. I've known him most of my life. I've known him more years in my life than I have. We're going to talk about some of the things that y'all did see on that video. I want to get y'all opinions on it in the chat room. I got my man Finest Wine cooking. I got Rated Care. He thought he was late, but he ain't late. Rated Care thought he was late, but he not late because we just tuned him in. Charlotte and Tran will be back in shortly. And I want y'all to understand this is a podcast. As I say every week, this is a podcast. What does that mean, HRap? A podcast means watch your boy multitask. Watch your boy multitask. That means that when you tell me, man, Rap, my bad, I'm sorry I missed your show, that means in my mind I'm going, get your ass out. You can't miss a podcast. Ask my man Chef D on Finest Wine Cooking and check out my man Rated Care. That's all they did. I don't never hardly be in their shows, but they always see that like button. They always see me comment. So they know I was there. Like my man Sam Barlow used to say back in the day, you can't tell me nothing about the Temptations. I was there. You can't tell me nothing about the podcast. I was there. Now, today is going to be a show that I personally entitled for on the selfish side of the game, Rapping with HRap. Why is it called Rapping with HRap? Because me, HRap B, in the place to be, I have a mission. My mission is to have conversation about the community and how we can uplift and rebuild the community and put ourselves in the best possible situation. I have guests every Thursday. We're going to talk about different topics. See how I'm filling in the blanks, and I'm still sending out notifications. Y'all don't even know it. Y'all don't know it. Me, my man Rated Care, we in the building, and I got other people tuning in. And what we're going to talk about today is media as well as entertainment. Media and entertainment. The reason we're going to talk about media and entertainment is because lately, and really not even lately, one of the driving factors in America today is the media. Sixth grade, Miss Dow taught me about news, media, and propaganda. News, media, propaganda. Now, news, media, propaganda, and periodicals. Periodicals they have to be 100% correct, because it's a documentation of history. Media and the news, they don't have to be correct. They don't have any rules. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is look up the case when the man sued Fox News. Fox News. Remember, it's called Fox News. The reason he sued Fox News is because he said they were not living up to the standards of news media, and Fox won the case because they said we're entertainment. So they can use the word news as a portion of their name because they don't have to stick to any news outlets. Now, when you don't have to follow those kinds of rules, you can say what you want to say. You can put out propaganda. What is propaganda? A portion of the news uplifted as if it's the truth, and people will follow it. If you were watching the show before the video cut off, you saw a bunch of people who said Donald Trump is still running the country. And then when they said, well, is he the reason Afghanistan jacked up? They said no. These are the types of people we're up against. So the questions tonight will help you realize the ish hole that you're in. I'm not using profanity as much anymore. It might slip out from time to time. It's just who I am. But I have a couple pastors listening. I got a couple elders listening. So I kind of cut down on the profane language simply because I want to pay respect to those people. But as we get Charlotte, I got my sister Charlotte back. I got Ready Kev back in the building. In a couple minutes, I'll be done sending out these alerts, and then we can get right to business. But allow me to introduce you to Charlotte and Ready Kev. I need y'all, Charlotte first, then Ready Kev. And Ready Kev, don't be shy. I need you to promote your YouTube channel. I'm trying to get Finest Wine on here too, so you can promote it, because I want everybody looking at his show because it's dope. But first and foremost, introduce yourself, Charlotte, and then let the people know who you are and how you live.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Brian, for having me on. I learned so much from your show.
Thank you.
I'm Brian's friend Charlotte. We've known each other for a long time, and yes, go by too fast the older we get. But I am a Chicago public school teacher, and I teach in the back of the yards neighborhood middle school. And I love learning about these issues because I can bring them back to our next generation and continue to teach them real history.
Not just his story. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. And I got my main man, Ready Kev. If you don't know who he is, that means you don't pay attention to my show because he's on here frequently. And Ready Kev, that y'all don't know, Ready Kev will be getting interviewed about his dope show in the near future. If you don't know what entertainment is, if you don't know what knowledge is, Ready Kev going to introduce you to it. And while he introduces you to that, I'm going to need him to introduce him to you.
Hey, what's up, guys, man? Again, I appreciate having me on your show again. I think it's a privilege. It's a pleasure. And I hope you guys are not distracted by the noise, but I'm rolling tonight. I have to move, so that's my issue. But I have a YouTube channel. I talk about sports. If you don't know by the name, by now I'm Rated Kev. So I talk a lot about the Raiders football team. Talk about sports in general, but my true passion is firearms. I really try to drive the community into understanding that firearms are not a negative to us. They are actually a positive. And I try to drive that home. So I appreciate another opportunity, man. Appreciate it.
With that being said, I have to let Ready Kev in on a little secret. We don't hear nothing, man.
Okay, all right. Cool.
We don't hear anything, man. We just hear your voice. So all right, you did all that, saying that you was sorry and all that, but it was nothing. You know what? Before I got on this show tonight, I was angry as hell. To hear what you state of Illinois, I hope you get hit by a truck. But I want to talk about media and entertainment. The first thing on the list this evening, we're gonna wait on my brother Tran, but we're gonna wait. We'll come back to it. The things that we do for entertainment purposes, the things that we do for media. The first question on the board, I'm gonna go right back to you, Raider. Then I'm gonna go back to come to Charlotte. Is this? It's the Black community suffering from Stockholm syndrome because the media, the mainstream media, has never been the friend of anybody of our community by and large. You can find one or two people. You can find, oh, this guy, he's down, we like him. And this guy, he's cool too, and we like him. But you don't get this in droves. And usually the people who they like are people that don't really stand up for the rights of the community. So by participating in this madness that we call mainstream media, is this proof that the Black community is suffering from Stockholm syndrome? I'm listening.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I think they have used the media against us to brainwash us, to stop us from growing, from taking chances, because we make assumptions. We feed into what they are giving us, and we make assumptions not only about our community, but actually ourselves. And that's what really bothers me. We have a lack of confidence because of the information that we are being fed, and it's false. I don't want to use his term, but and I ain't going to use it. But anyway, the media just feeds us false information. They feed us a narrative that's being driven by the powers to be, and unfortunately, it has affected us in so many ways that it's ridiculous. And I'll add to that, not only the mainstream media, but now this thing called social media, right, has really corrupted us and really has directed our behavior in such a manner that I'm embarrassed at times. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really embarrassing because back in the day, we evolved from our close environment, our family, what our grandmothers taught us, what our mothers taught us, what our fathers taught us. Now, our kids, and not even kids, even our adults, are looking at what is put out on social media and thinking this is the norm. And it's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing.
With that being said, Charlotte, you're up next.
I agree with Raider Kev. I think that the system that giveth also taketh away. And I think that a lot of us, and Raider Kev has said this before, and you've said this before, and even some of the other guests who've been on have said, we don't know our culture, we don't know our history, we don't know our power. So what comes to mind for me right now is, since you're talking about entertainment, I'm thinking of the movie industry. And last night I saw, and it's funny because this has been on Netflix for months, but it just suddenly showed up on my stream last night, this documentary, They've Gotta Have Us. And it was a lot of Black actors and actresses talking about, Hollywood and the entertainment industry, and the fact that out of 89 years of the Academy Awards, only 39 Oscars have been given to our brothers and sisters of color. And what stands out again to me the most is that Hattie McDaniel, who won the first one as supporting actress, was segregated at the ceremony. And that just, to me, that just speaks volumes, right? Because you're giving her this token, and to me, that's what it was. It's just a token, right? And she's still being segregated that night. And I feel like it's always been that way. Like, I feel like we're giving breadcrumbs to keep that illusion going of, yes, we can fit in. Yes, we can make it. Yes, and then, but it's not enough, and it's never going to be enough. So I definitely feel like that, but I feel like it's because we buy into and we believe these illusions that they create for us, as if they're giving us something or rewarding us in some way, but actually it's kind of like a little carrot dangling on the hook to keep us going and to keep us buying into that belief.
I totally agree with both of you guys, man. And it's just, to me, I don't understand why we even participate. It's funny, like everybody's angry with our brother David Chappelle right now. And we're going to talk about that on the forecast Monday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, BS3 Network. Don't miss it. But Shameless plug, yeah. But we're gonna talk about that. Everybody's angry with David Chappelle right now, right? And David Chappelle said, "Man, I walked away from $60 million. What's the deal? You know, I don't care." And everybody didn't realize. I don't think many people realized exactly what he was saying. He's saying, "Hey, I saw a system that didn't suit me, so I walked away from it. No matter how much money was promised to me, how much money I was guaranteed, how much money I was going to get, I said, enough of this." And, you know, to me, we will take that money and run with it before and sell our souls out, because if your soul is for sale, I mean, if you're always doing things for money, that means your soul is for sale, right? And it makes me feel like we continue to embrace the people that hate us and look for approval through them through media. That's why we always on ESPN smiling, or we on Entertainment Tonight. We on TMZ. We on Vlad TV. We on all these outlets that only let us in when they need us. You know, and I don't understand why we keep going back. See, because as human beings, if your significant other socks you in the face, most of us will go, "I'm done. Don't need to get hit again." Now, some of us will take that abuse, and that's a whole nother conversation. But when you get abused or you get mistreated or you treated like a second or afterthought, what happens is you walk away. As you just said, what you said, 92 years at the academy. We've been treated like second-class citizens and dismissed for 90 some odd years. And what have we done? We back, boss. We back. I don't understand that. And that's why I said Stockholm Syndrome, because we keep getting hit, we keep coming back. And then this is what, and y'all can expound on this if y'all like, this is what trips me out. Oh, no, they ain't going to stop me. But they don't have to stop you, because our recently transitioned ancestors, Mario Van Peebles, he said, "I'm out." And he did what they call black exploitation movies. But guess what? Those were FUBU movies, for us, by us. So if we're going to wait for the Academy Award, why would you wait for an award by somebody that don't like you? That's all I'm trying to understand. Why would you wait for an award by somebody that don't like you? Because as you said, at that point, it's tokenism, it's breadcrumbs, but we don't mind accepting those breadcrumbs. If y'all like to expound on that, I'm listening. If not, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, you know, I would like to say something about it. So when you go back to what Chappelle was saying, to me, what he was, in addition to what you added, he was saying, listen, you say I'm against you, right? You say I'm not for you, but I just gave up $60 million in support of you. But how are you going to support me? By trashing me and not hearing me when I'm saying something and you twisted it, all the way around. So what we can't recognize was right in front of our face at times. And I think it goes back to us feeding into, as a community, because I don't feed into it, but as a community, we feed into what the propaganda that's being shown, and the selling. And look, that's why I feel social media. Which let me explain something about social media. I think social media could be a great tool, okay, but it's also being used to influence our way of thinking, because it'll trend in a certain way that doesn't make any sense, but that's what be trending. That nonsense will be trending. A comment about Chappelle, feelings about Chappelle, not what he says, not what he does, but a simple excerpt or a comment of what his act was about, and that's what would trend in a negative way. And that's how I feel they use these tools to disrupt us and to put us in a state of mind of negativity. And that's what I'm embarrassed about, that we fall for that trick as a community.
Okay. Well, you know what? I can't disagree with any of that. Then that leads us to the next question. I worded y'all should have slapped me when y'all saw the way I worded this question when I said it, but I'm sure y'all understood it. Do we give them a pass by accepting these accolades, trinkets, and money? Charlotte?
That's a loaded question. But yes, I think and it's funny because the first question as well as this question, and you talked about Mario Van Peebles in terms of, again, the entertainment industry. I'm thinking Tyler Perry, I'm thinking Oprah Winfrey, I'm thinking of you know, on the forefront, they look like they're for us, by us, but again, I kind of feel like they're on the side of this system that's created to dangle that carrot. Again, I feel like they're another illusion because on the one hand, sometimes they seem as if they are for our, our family and our community, but then other times they say things or do things and you go, is that real? Is that authentic? I'm not really sure. So I think we do give them a pass by continuing to buy into it. Like you said, like we need more Mario Van Peebles and Robert Townsend. I'm thinking Spike Lee. I'm thinking John Singleton. I'm thinking, they started something again, but then all of a sudden we don't hear from them. They're kind of silenced again. And it's kind of like, well, what happened? I feel like we do need some kind of alternative, but if we continue, just like in any job market or any system that's set up in our country, if we continue to try to succeed on their playing field with them playing the game and calling the shots, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Hard. Exactly. My sentiments exactly. Ready, Kev, shoot it at me, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with Charlotte. It's unfortunate that I think we do give them a pass because we buy into it as a community. Individuals don't, right? But as a community, as a whole, we buy into it because we want to fit in. And she mentioned it earlier. They dangle that carrot, saying, "Hey, this is what you can achieve if you just fit in, if you just buy our game plan, right?" And my answer to that, and what I try to, teach my family and try to get across to them, is that is simply unrealistic. How can you follow the game plan of a group of people that have oppressed you, have no desire for you to really achieve, right? How can you fall for that? It's unrealistic. It's impossible, And what I think one of the main issues with our community, with this whole media and how I agree, we give them a pass, is that we allow them to not only form our way of thinking at times, right, but also form the goals that we should be achieving. I want my own goals. I have an idea for my family that is totally against what they have. It's totally different. And so what we have to do is not only just fall for the tricks and but have our own goals, have our own desires, and go for those things, even though it might not fit in what society to say is great. What we have in our hearts, what we have in our families, what we can build is so much better than what they try to, say exists or say that makes you happy. So yeah, man, that's how.
Hey, again, totally agree. Only thing I want to do is add on to that. The thing that bothers me the most is this is the trick, because okay, I'm gonna hand you this nice shiny trinket. It's you brought up Chappelle. It reminds me of this joke Dave Chappelle said about monkeys. Monkeys have a keen sense of smell, and they love salt, and they put the salt in the ground, and they get the monkey to find the water, and they just follow the monkey to the water. And that's how they do it in Africa. And what they're doing with us is they're giving 1, 10, 20 of us a whole lot of money. The Oprahs, the Daves, the Eddies, Jim Browns or whoever the case may be. You give them a lot of money, and they say, see, they made it through hard work and determination. And they did it. They bust their behinds. They bust their behinds to get there, but it's just like anything else. We're going to let you through, and we're going to give you these awards, and then it's like, hey, it's the proverbial carrot being chased, right? And we keep saying, well, this is how you validate it, because even some of the most prominent people, some of the most intelligent people I know, listen to, read their books and things of that nature, they even say Oscar's too black, man, Oscar's too white, well, Oscar's this, and Emmy's too white, and we're going to protest. But the best way to protest is do what this brother, he's an NFL Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's a linebacker for the New York Giants. His name is Harry Carson. Anybody who ever seen Harry Carson play knew he was a Hall of Fame caliber player. Knew you can't tell the story of the NFL without talking about Harry Carson, right? Then Harry Carson was up for the Hall of Fame 3 straight years, and he never made it. Harry Carson told the NFL, I don't want to be in. Forget it. They put him in that year because he realized, he had just said, forget it. You're not finna have me out here. No disrespect to the brother Chris Carter and T.O. and the other brothers who sat around angry because they ain't make it. He was like, y'all not gonna have me out here like this. I don't give a damn if y'all ever let me in. And that's until we take on the mentality of keep your Oscar, keep your Grammy, keep your American Music Award, keep your MTV Music Award or whatever it is. You keep that. And then you keep your whatever awards that's out there, Emmys and whatever else, you keep those because I don't care. And because guess what? Black Panther didn't win any individual awards. I think it won awards for outfits, the costume award, best costumes. Okay, whatever. But it's still one of the highest grossing movies in the history of the world. You tell somebody from the 80s, hey man, what's your favorite movie? You gonna probably name an Eddie Murphy movie. So Eddie Murphy is no less funny. So why do we need these things? And what really pisses me off about this is when I see they might not be as popular, the DeRay Davis level entertainer or the Lorenz Tate level entertainer, and they be complaining, well, it's hard to get a movie made in Hollywood. What makes me, and I would love to hear y'all opinion on this, what really bothers me is why don't the Eddie Murphys, the Tyler Perrys, the Spike Lees and all these people work together in unison? Because, okay, if it costs $6 to $8 to $10, if it costs $10 million to make a movie, Eddie Murphy, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, they got $10 million that they could just throw away. That's how much money they have. So why don't they fund these projects and then just put them out? In essence, following the suit of the rappers, because the rappers said, I don't need no record deal no more. My movie going to YouTube. I mean, my music going to Apple and Spotify. I'm gonna make my money that way. So just imagine, and if we said, to hell with Hollywood, we're going to make this movie, we're going to put it out. And Tyler Perry has shown us, if you put your own you can do your own movies, and you don't need anybody. Why don't we do that? I'm listening. Y'all don't even know, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really get why big celebrities and people with deep pockets don't get together and do things. You know,
yeah,
that's a huge mystery to me. You know, like I see like individuals, like, okay, let's use Oprah for an example, right? She has built an empire. She has networks and she has, you know, all these things in place, but it's everything is limited. She doesn't really like truly embrace the community where you think she should, or where she's capable of, you know. And it troubles me. I wonder if behind the scenes, if there's some actions that's being done or message being passed that you can only go so far. You know what I'm saying? we're gonna let you succeed, but if you cross this line, that's it. And the reason why I think that is like it's something like um I forget his name, the comedian Bill Cosby, right? So I think about how Bill Cosby, the rumors were the reason why this whole scandal came about was because he was getting ready to do something big in the industry, And so I wonder if that's why the other, like Eddie Murphy and, all you big successful entertainment sports guys, why they don't get together and really put us in the forefront. I wonder if it's behind the scenes there's something being hung over their heads. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my biggest questions.
Yeah, you know what, man? But see, that's the thing. Oh, did you want to comment, Charlotte? I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can jump in. But I was going to say there is rumors, there's always conspiracy theories and controversial things. And I think there's a fear there, whether the controversy or the conspiracy theories are correct or not. So like Michael Jackson was in the entertainment industry for so long, right? But then he started taking control of his catalog and buying white catalogs like the Beatles, like major things. And I'm thinking Bill Cosby with NBC. I'm thinking of Prince, who all those years fought against Warner Brothers, right? So the conspiracy theories that they got too big and they got killed, right? We're thinking Dr. CB with his cure for cancer and his natural diets and all of those things. And then all of a sudden they die. So that's a conspiracy theory. So it makes me wonder whether or not those are true. If there's a fear in us that goes back to slavery, right? Okay, we're going to use this and make this person as an example because we do have to keep them under control. And we're going to do it with fear. We're going to do it, with these retributions. Like we talked before about Monique being, blacklisted for speaking out against Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, as well as the white industry, right? And now where is she? What kind of jobs can she get? So I'm thinking that, like Greater Kev touched on, I think there is something behind the scenes that we may not be aware of, but there's something that's preventing that coming together of those powerhouses, right? Because we've talked about this before too. They fear us and our power, right? So they got to keep us in check one way or another.
And you know what? I totally understand exactly where you and Ray Kev coming from, and I totally agree with everything y'all said. But even then, because look, this is to support everything you and Ray Kev just said. Dr. King stepped up. Let's just take it backward. 1982, Huey P. Newton stepped up. He ended up dead in the street, and then they said it was a drug deal. And then you just go back a few years before that, you get Dr. King being murdered in 1968, 14 years before that, Dr. King get murdered. Guess who else stepped up? Brother by the name of Malcolm X. He stepped up. Brother by the name of Whitney Young, an excellent swimmer that drowns. Dr. King's brother, another activist that we don't ever hear about. Another excellent swimmer who drowned with no water in his lungs. He drowned with no water in his lungs. Dr. King's mama at a church at the piano and some brother. And again, let's go back to this. Brother by the name of Malcolm X said they get one of us to hurt one of us so they can say it's one of us. But Dr. King's mama sitting at a piano at a church, and a black man walks in and shoots her. Before that, Fred Hampton. And then you go back to the aforementioned Brother Malcolm X. And then you go to, before that, you got a brother by the name of Medgar Evers. And then even before that, you can go to a brother by the name of Paul Robeson. We don't talk about Paul Robeson enough. Paul Robeson was speaking up, and he stopped saying that he was black. He started saying, I'm from Earth. I can go where I want to do and do what I want to do. I'm not an American. I'm from Earth. Guess what they did to Paul Robeson? Blacklisted him, called him a communist, and then took his passport because he started making money overseas. Paul Robeson was such a dynamic man that he learned how to speak Russian so he could sing his songs to the Russians in Russia. or whatever country he went, he learned how to speak that language. That just shows you how powerful you can be if you choose to be, instead of just being a football player, basketball player, or some type of dancer or singer. Because anybody can do that. Let's just be honest. You might not be able to do it as well as Whitney Houston. You might not be able to do it as well as Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson, but you can still sing and make some money. Ask Janet Jackson. Oops, my fault. Anyway, but people do get done away with when they step up. But they only get done away with when you're not happy with what's yours. See, guess how they were able to get Michael Jackson? And we don't know if they killed Michael Jackson or not. I'm not even making those accusations. But guess why Michael Jackson looked like some white man when he died? Because Michael Jackson wasn't happy with being the king of soul. He wasn't happy with being the next alliteration of Teddy Pendergrass and Marvin Gaye, the sexiest guy in the world with the great voice, and all the sisters love him. I want to be the king of pop, because you want approval, as you stated, by the man. You want the man to acknowledge you. But if Michael Jackson would have just dominated in his area, guess what? He'd have been equally rich, and he wouldn't have had to go swing with nobody else. And that's the problem, in my personal opinion. We're not happy. Like, one of the few people that stayed happy being who they were is Eddie Murphy. They tried to trash Ed, and Ed said, "Forget y'all. Y'all gave me enough movie to tell y'all to go head on." But guess what? I don't really like this guy, and I don't know if it's the truth, but he said it on the show one morning. Eddie Murphy is responsible for 80% of the brothers in Hollywood right now. The people who we love the most, Martin came through Eddie Murphy. Chris Rock came through Eddie Murphy. And the aforementioned Dave Chappelle came through Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy is pulling people along. But I just believe if we take, you notice Tyler Perry ain't dying, because Tyler Perry don't give a damn about an Academy Award. He don't give a damn about none of that. Some of these singers like our sister Erykah Badu, she don't give a damn about a Grammy. I'm gonna make Bag Lady and Window Seat. I'm gonna make music that I love. But you're gonna have to pick. And to me, in order for this thing to work for us in regards to music and entertainment, we're gonna have to follow the role of the rapper, put on my own stuff, and put out your own movie. Now, you might not be able to afford $100 million action adventure movie, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna use this name just for shits and giggles. If you made a 2021 Shaft, and it blew up like the original 1972 Shaft, I bet you people start paying attention to us then. See, that's like, you know who the perfect example of what I'm talking about? Our brother Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington makes the movies he want to make, and they pay him what they want to pay him. But him, Will Smith, they need to be the next movie that Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, Denzel Washington make. They need to be at Tyler Perry Studios getting together, putting it together, and putting it out. And if you need some distribution, y'all can distribute this, and that's it. Otherwise, they will continue to control and dominate us because, like I said this, Ray Kev was witness to this on my sports show maybe a year and a half. It was 2 years ago, so I wasn't even on my own network with me, Knox, and DJ, I almost called him DJ Rocker, number one chief rocker, Jersey Vern. Before we created this, I said, you know what? I had saw somebody on TV. They said, man, they don't never give us what we deserve. They don't never give us the money. And I was like, and I've held strong to it. I said, man, unless I have a lady in my life and they want to go to the show, I'm not going to the movies to see no more movies that don't star black people. And I haven't. Because in order for us to get what we need, we got to stop shopping at their stores. Like the great Dr. Claude Anderson say, when we go to their get down, when we go watch the movie that's starring the white guy and the white lady and making the white folks look like angelic, what we do is allow them to not only eat off the white community that's gonna love that movie. I'm not saying I ain't gonna love no white movies, because I love some of my favorite movies ain't got no brothers in them. But I'm gonna have to see it on HBO. And y'all put y'all money in the back end, because I'm tired. I'm tired of complaining. Why are we complaining about something that we don't have to support? Most of us got cable or another means to watch TV. I'm not gonna say no other means, but Amazon Prime, Netflix, or another means. You take it the way you want to take it. But What I am going to say is if we stop going, if we focus on 50 Cent show about the brother who was in jail and got himself out of jail, he became a lawyer, and we flocked to that. Like y'all was saying, Oprah should have had that show on her network. Martin should have been on BET. There's no way in hell Living Color and Martin should have been on Fox. Even though we ain't realize that Fox does a lot of good programming. You know, contrary to popular belief, Fox does a great lot. They do brothers a lot of justice. But there's no way in hell Martin, Living Singles, and then Living Color shouldn't have been on BET. That's all I'm saying. And until we get to the point where we looking at these shows and blowing them up, and they don't have to be mainstream. It's 50 million of us. It ain't a whole lot of shows 50 million people watch. I've never heard of a show that all 50 million, like 50 million people in America watched that last night. I've never heard of that show. So if we as just a community got the way we get behind Martin, you say, I was just talking to somebody this week, you say you don't like Martin, people talking about taking your black card. You say, no, I ain't really like Living Color. People look at you like you were crazy. So why are they on other networks? They ain't got to blow up. They ain't got to blow up. They don't have to blow up. But what we always want to be on MTV, ABC, CBS, HBO, Showtime, and so forth and so on. Just imagine if The Godfather Harlem was on Oprah's network. Just imagine that. Things like Black Jesus. Black Jesus is insanely hilarious. Aaron McGrew to make it, Corey Holcomb, Slink Johnson. It's a black cast, black written. Just imagine if that was on Oprah Winfrey Network. She'd blow up. And here's the crazy part. Some of our favorite shows are on Oprah Network. So why don't you get the rest of them Oprah? We know you're listening because everybody listens to this show. With that being said, let's talk about another vice, the National Football League, sports in general. Why do we support these things that clearly don't mean us any good? You talk to the average black sports fan, they don't treat the black quarterback right. They always trying to blackball this dude. And then, or the new popular opinions are Kyrie Irving is crazy and Ben Simmons is a crybaby. But I would challenge anybody who listening, y'all can take the floor after I ask this question. I would challenge anybody who listening. If somebody says something that egregious to you at your job and you had to, if somebody said, it's your fault we suck, even if you had a bad night and you had the ability to get up out of that job, wouldn't you go? I'm listening to Charlotte North Carolina. Why do we pay so much attention to the NFL? And just about every black football fan on earth tells you that they mistreat us. I'm listening.
Well, that's a very complicated question for me because I'm on both sides of the fence, right? And I really shouldn't be, right? Because to me, it's clear as day how unfair and how we're not valued, okay? Our opinions, the way we see the world, the changes that we want to make in the world, those things are not valued in sports, okay? They basically want to drive the narrative, shut up and play, right? Now, they're starting to sprinkle in little things to, seem to, have our better interests at heart, but we know that deep down inside, they really don't. They truly don't. Yet, I'm part of the system that, I drive that passion. I show that passion because it's so entrenched in me for so many years, and it's just hard to get away. I've tried. I've been a football fan. I've been a sports fan since I was 5, 6 years old. Right? But if you just want to talk about the NFL, I've been an NFL true fan since I was 10 years old, right? And that passion for my teams, for the sport, it's hard to get away from. And trust me, I've tried. When we were, stuck with the realization of what they were doing to Colin Kaepernick, right? It was such a glaring slap in the face And I tried so hard to just dismiss it and let it go and let my whole passion just ignore it and just let it go. And I'm going to tell you the most I can do. The most I was able to do was not watch games and simply watch the highlights. And that's sad. That's truly sad. I should have been able to just cut it all together, and to this day should not have any passion or any desire to support this sport. But I have to say, man, it's something that is, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's very, very hard to get away from. And I don't really know the answer to it. I wish I could. I wish I could give you the answer to why, but I really can't. I truly, truly can't. It's just simply that passion for it. You know, it drives me and it sucks me in. And I'm totally guilty for it, man. If there's a flaw in Raider Kev, that's the flaw. That's the one thing that I really would like to stop having a passion for, and I simply can't.
Charlotte?
I have to say, I can only confess, I can only comment on in a general way, because all I know is field goal, touchdown in terms of sport. But I think it's a couple of things. I think, you know, I think it's one of those things where if your parents have a passion for something, they pass that on to you. So I don't know all the intricacies of football, but I'm a Bears fan. Why? Because my dad was a Bears fan. And that's just something that you do with your family. And, you know, I totally understand what Raider Kev is saying. I mean, he grew up with it. When you love something that much, and it's something your friends enjoy, your family enjoys, and it's just something in you. And then you just have that love for the sport. So you don't really look at the business end of it. And you don't, you know, think about really the power that all these sports leagues, these professional sports leagues have. And I didn't realize that until I became an adult. And just like Raider Kev, I mean, Colin Kaepernick opened, I think, all of our eyes, and the treatment of him really opened up our eyes. So there's that's ingrained in you. I mean, you just really love it for the pureness of it. You don't think about the money, you don't think about the business end. And then the other side, I think this is a problem with all of us, and in our community as well. And I keep focusing on this, you know, every time we talk about our people. And it's that fact that people will often say, well, I'm just one person. If I'm the, you know, what difference does it make if I do it? Because I'm just one person. So again, we don't realize, you know, the importance of ourselves and our power and how much power we have when we all come together, because you just brush it off as saying, it's not a big deal because it's just me. So those are my two thoughts on it. You have that love for it. You can't let it go because you have that love for it. And then the other thing is you just say, well, I'm just one person.
Okay, with that being said, let me do a station break. This is HRap, host of the End of the Bench podcast on Built for This Network on Spreaker.com. You're watching on YouTube, The End of the Bench, and you are listening on Spreaker.com, and you can catch us on a myriad of other locations, which include Spreaker.com, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Deezer, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. There's no such thing as missing this show or any other show on the network. It is only on-demand entertainment. And if you're listening on the Spreaker side, hit that heart. If you're listening on this side, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and do the same on the Spreaker side, because we need as many people possible listening to these topics as, you know, in order to trigger people. Hopefully this triggers you and it puts you in a better situation. I don't want anybody to give up sports. I too am a sports fan. I figured I thought I was over sports until I watched the Chicago Bull game last night, right? I didn't get excited or anything. I was pissed because they no longer have any strategy. All they do is shoot threes, and I was mad. And the fact that I'm still mad means I'm still a sports fan, right? But what I would ask people to do is this. Our people to do is this. Let's start rooting for teams. Let's start rooting for the players. I understand we got this regional affinity to these teams. Of course, you live in Chicago, unless you're like me, you a diehard Bear fan. But I'm a Bear fan that's a Raider fan. And I'm a Raider fan that's a Bear fan, actually. But let's start rooting for the players instead of the teams, because this again will empower our brothers and our sisters in the WNBA and the soccer leagues and stuff like that. Because if you stop, see, the reason the leagues, in my personal opinion, the reason the leagues have so much power is because we do root for we will say, see, man, he a punk. He ain't go out there and play hurt. Back in the day, he'd have played with a broken arm. Listen to that. You want somebody to go out and play with a broken arm so you can have bragging rights within your friends. Listen to what you're asking these people to do. And then guess what? Something else we don't do. Chris Webber, shout out to the homie Chris Webber, newly in the Hall of Fame. The homie Chris Webber said this. They were talking about best shoes. They were talking about the best sneakers in the world, right? And somebody bought up Chuck Taylor's. And Chris Webber, I ain't wearing that, man. You see how Bill Russell them walk? They was playing in those and they jacked up. And that made me realize how many NFL, and if Bill Russell is jacked up when he walked and Dr. J is jacked up when he walked, just imagine what an NFL player looks like when he walks. So all I'm saying is this. We need to get behind the young brother Brown and Boston, the brother LeBron James, the brother Russell Westbrook. The reason I picked those three, young Brown, he from Atlanta, he was out there walking for the George Floyd thing. We need to, if we're going to buy some jersey, we need to buy his jersey. Not really a Boston Celtics jersey, even though it is a Boston Celtics jersey. We need to be putting money in his pocket because he is active in the community. LeBron James for merited things. Russell Westbrook, because a lot of people didn't realize how horrific that Tulsa, Oklahoma thing was until Russell Westbrook put some of them $25 million a year behind that documentary and put it on the History Channel free for everybody to see. See, these are the things I believe that if we're going to support these leagues, I mean, we're going to watch these games because, like Ray Kev said, we're addicted at this point. Charlotte said it too. Hey, when your mama, your daddy, that's how I became. My mother made me a Raider fan. You know, she wasn't a Raider fan. She was like, who's your team? And I said, who's your team? She said, the Miami Dolphins. I said, I'm going to be a Dolphin fan too. She said, nah. She was like the radio thing. No, my brother, you got to get your own. And I got my own. Which ended up being the Raiders because every time the Bears lost, the Raiders on NBC winning. So, hey, man, when you're 6 years old, that's all you know. They won, so they good. So, and then, you know, so maybe we need to stop supporting the teams per se and start supporting the players. Because I am not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I have never wanted the Dallas Cowboys to win more than I want them to win this year, simply because they are going to, if they win, you evict all these haters from our brother Dak Prescott's back. And when we empower the players, the leagues will still make the money, but the players, you can't do away with me now. I don't love this team. I love that guy. And I'm gonna go like a bunch of people all of a sudden found their way down to Tampa when Tom Brady went down there. I'm a Tampa fan. No, you're a Tom Brady fan. Maybe we should change the rules of engagement, and then we can take away some of the power that these leagues have to blackball, to suppress, and to victimize them and make them feel like they're supposed to. Like mainstream media telling LeBron James he's wrong for putting himself in the best possible position. Listen to that. We're angry as a community with LeBron because he didn't do what Michael Jordan did. And you're right, he didn't do what Michael Jordan did. He never said Republicans don't wear gym shoes. Joking or not, you said it in front of a camera with a microphone in your face. They sent it around the world. He didn't do what Michael Jordan did, stay neutral on everything. He didn't do what Michael Jordan said. And the people who listen and go, well, Michael Jordan dedicated in the background. Hey, man, This is all I have to say. I don't have anything bad to say about Michael Jordan, first and foremost. But I know for a fact, I can only account for me, and I'll ask Charlotte and Ray Kev as well. Which one has the most impact? If Michael Jordan gives $1 million, but shows up in the community and shakes hands and kisses a few babies, or if he gives up, $2 million and just walk away. The bigger impact is on Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is him shaking hands, kissing babies, and making his presence felt, because you will remember that for, just imagine. And I asked all three of y'all, and now we got former man Tran in the building, much love, Trey Mack. Which one makes the most impact on you? Michael Jordan coming to the hood, shaking your hand, telling you, Tran, Charlotte, Ray Kev, you could be somebody. Or Michael Jordan giving $2 million that we never see. I'm listening. Since you knew on the floor, Tran, the floor is yours. I can't hear you, Tran. You might still be on mute. I can't hear you. Leave and then come back. I'll be right back at you. Charlotte, it's on you.
Oh, for sure. That in person and that personal touch that says I'm here to help you is definitely going to make the most impact, right? We as teachers learned that when we had to go remote. From a distance doesn't work. You have to be right there in the midst. Mm-hmm. And I had said earlier that I have much respect for LeBron James. I know nothing about his skills as a basketball player, but I know he opened up his own school in the Black community for those children. He gives out scholarships. And so he has all of my respect for that, because he truly loves our community and does a lot for it.
Raider.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not even an argument. If you have any, and I'm not, past dispersions or trying to down anyone for not seeing what's right in front of your face. But if anytime someone gives something in the background, what example is that really showing? How are you showing how to love? How are you showing how to support? And what LeBron does, he doesn't show his activities to brag and boast. I think he shows that his activities and his contribution to the community to show us how we can do it also. Might not be at that level, but we can also support our community. And he gives us examples. When he says things on Twitter or Facebook or whatever media outlet he uses, he's showing us how to form an opinion and why. He's giving kids examples of how you should do it, how you should stand up for your people, regardless to the cost of you. That you can't buy that. He didn't have to give a dime, right? But by showing you how to support your community in a positive way, regardless of what it costs you, is an example that is priceless. So I didn't see a comparison. And I know it becomes a comparison because this is how people, do this debate, how they judge these two people. But it's not even a comparison, right? Examples are much more important than idle gifts. And I can't even see the argument in it.
You there, Tran? Can we hear you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
All right.
There we go. Hey, lovely people. Now what was could you give me the question again, man?
The question is, the original question is, you can answer both questions. It was two-part. Seeing how the NFL mistreats brothers, why do we support the NFL instead of just supporting the players? Now, I do understand the NFL, when you buy a jersey, like we buy a Trey Mack jersey, and he playing for the Bears, the NFL gonna get some money, but why don't we focus on the guys more than the league? Because the guys are the people who are gonna make an impact. If we support the right guys, they make a bigger impact than the team. The second part is, which one, in your opinion, makes the bigger impact? Giving money behind the scenes that don't nobody see it and we never know where it comes, or giving money, do it like the way Michael Jordan did it. And this is not a Mike versus LeBron thing, because I know people hear this and they go, this is Jordan versus LeBron. No. The way Michael Jordan did it, being innocuous, being behind the scenes, slide people a little money here, slide people money there, or LeBron James do it. I'm out here in these streets, I'm shaking hands, I'm hugging kids, I'm encouraging them in their face. Which one do you prefer? The floor is yours.
Okay, so as far as the football thing, so for me, right, because it's like which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Now, if it wasn't for the NFL, I couldn't support none of the brothers, right?
Right.
So I'm supporting the brothers because they in the NFL. So I'm still going to like I never really understood, like, okay, so now we gonna just boycott the NFL when it's still 75% or whatever it is, something more than 50% black. So now I'm not gonna support, and I'm supporting that. Like, you can't do both, right? So I'm supporting my guys. I'm gonna watch it because it come on TV. That's something that entertains me, right? And I support my guys. And yeah, but when we go back to Colin Kaepernick and how they treat brothers and how brothers ain't the ones in position to get coaching positions or executive positions, or it ain't no black folks that have that own a team. I understand that part, but it's still a whole lot of talented black men that's involved in that. So I can't just not support, because like it can't go both ways. So for me, I'm gonna always support my people regardless, because regardless if none of us ever watch football, no black people ever watch football again, it's still gonna be 75% black. You know what I'm saying? So it can't be both, man. I never understood that part. I mean, I understand it in theory, but in practice, in reality, it don't make sense, man. I'm rolling with the brothers, man. Every time I don't care where it is, in the government, in any sector, whatever it is, I'm rolling with the black man. I might not, appreciate the field that he working in, because that's how they treat you, but that's how they treat us everywhere. I mean, when we just gonna stop supporting everything, we can't do that, right? So I'm gonna always support my brothers, and if it comes that I'm supporting them in support of something else, then that's what it is. But my aim is always you got a fan in me if you're a black person doing anything that you're doing, and I'm gonna appreciate you and recognize you. So that's that. And the other part is, you say, is it, do you have to be right there in the hood, or which way? I mean, that all comes down to preference, as far as, if you behind the scenes doing it, or if you, in the camera making everybody know that this is what you're doing. I just appreciate anybody doing it. I know these are, this ain't really necessarily answering the question. I'm kind of towing the line. you know what I'm saying?
No, you're
right,
not.
but I am. But I'm just saying, though, I'm gonna always, it don't even matter how it come, man, what package it come in, as long as they doing the right thing and they doing it, and somebody on the other end is receiving a blessing from what they doing. They could do it any way they want to do it. I don't even care. I just want them to do it. You know what I mean? It don't matter that I know. I don't need to know. The people that get the benefit usually know who the person on the other end that's sending them that gift is, right? Maybe the public might not know, but somebody that's receiving whatever the blessing that that superstar, that person with the money, or that person with a lot of power or a lot of prestige is given to you, they know. Somebody done told them, so they know. And that's enough. As long as they know, that's good enough. As long as you're doing something for the people, and that goes, for me, is it don't matter if you a super rich, famous celebrity, or if you, somebody that just might go work at a soup kitchen on the weekend one day. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Like, the sentiment is the same. You're trying to help, right? So anybody trying to help, I'm behind them 100%, whichever way they choose to do it. It's just their own personal preference. But I'm with anybody that do it. I'm with them all. However you want to do it, that's the way you chose to do it, and I'm applaud you and recognize you for doing what you done did. You know what I mean? So that's my view on that.
You know what? I don't think he was towing the line. You were just giving your opinion. I think people.
Right.
I think we got to the point where when people get their own opinion, we want them to take sides on our side. You know, you only towing the line when I think you ain't agreeing with me. But no, like I always say on this show, man, I don't need nobody saying what I said, echoing what I said. I need you to be like, no, I don't rock with that. That's cool. Or you can say, if you could agree, but it ain't nothing wrong with seeing it your way. And I really appreciated you not agreeing with the entire panel, because that's the whole purpose of the conversation. Nobody,
yes, sir.
We're looking for echo chamber. You in echo chamber, so to speak. Well, not so to speak. Period. So I appreciate that. Me personally, I do like the hands-on better, because the fact that, like, I'm gonna take it right, like we always do. I'm gonna take it back to our neighborhood. I appreciate the fact that when Mr. White walked past me, he says, "How you doing, Brian?" You know what I mean? I appreciate that the Secretary of State of Illinois knows me by my first name. So it means a lot to me. And I'm sure this is why I think the hands-on is better, or I prefer it. It ain't better, because that's something else we got to stop saying better. I prefer the hands-on, because just imagine if Jesse Jackson would have came to the hood and been like, man, y'all doing a great job. One or two of us that went down the wrong path would have got up off that wrong path just by those words. That's why I prefer it that way. That's all. But it ain't no right way and wrong way when you voicing opinions. And, you know, that it annoys me when I hear people talking and somebody give an opinion. They say, you wrong. Like, how the hell I'm wrong about what I like? So, okay. Why do you believe, since we did the sports, we did the entertainment, movies, singing, the media is the greatest enemy, is one of our greatest enemies. Why do we continue to play the media game? And what I mean by the media game is our brother Marshawn Lynch, our brother Sterling Sharp, and a few other players in these professional sports and entertainment. They don't like Dave Chappelle. You never see Dave Chappelle do an interview. You never see some of these stars do interviews. And Marshawn Lynch, people think, oh, well, he ain't talk because he was shot. No, when he was in Buffalo, he was misquoted. So he said, I ain't talking to y'all no more. Sterling Sharp was the same way. He got misquoted and never talked to the media again. Why do y'all think, and I'm going to go Tran, Charlotte, Kev, why do y'all think we continue to play this game? Why do we feed into something that means us zero good? I'm listening.
So for me, like, you know, when I just look at the media, I just look at the media as another wing of the people in control. You know, you can say white supremacy, you can say whatever you want to call it, whatever it is. It's just another level of it. And because and it was so crazy to me because I got into college. I had some type of class. I swear I don't know if it was English class or civics. I don't know what it was, but the guy told me, and I saw it, and that's what made me understand the way they, portray everything, and that's what it is, right? Because they have so much power. They have, if you're not a thinker, if you're not if you're not somebody that questions things, you will accept whatever they tell you, and that's what it is, and you're gonna go with that because that's what you've been told, right? Because you hear it on TV. That's good enough, right? But I'm saying it's always a motive behind the way they put everything out there. And the first thing was I had a professor that told me that, just the format of the news, right? Now that stuck with me. And not a lot stuck with me, but that stuck with me once he told me the format of the news. I've been to so many different states and cities. I've been traveling all around. And that's when I got to see it. But the way the news come on, they start with the shit you can't believe. A baby got burned or killed in a fire, or somebody shot a 3-year-old in the face and just the worst shit you could ever think of. Right. And then next it comes something else. And next it comes, but what they start with, and it never fails. Because even he said it. They'll show the wildest image of, okay, they found a black criminal. So we're gonna profile this black criminal. That's how they start the news all over the world. I mean, at least in the United States, in every city, the format is the same. So they started with that, the wildest, craziest shit you're like, oh my gosh. Like it's really a TV program, right? It ain't just giving you news. They formatting in a way that you expecting to hear the worst shit first. So you hear the shit, you see the wildest nigga that you ever see in your life, you know, black eyes, stitches, a patch on his eye, hair wild, braids, you know, teeth missing, whatever. Pants hanging down to his ankles, you know, chains on his ankle, you know, his wrist, ankles, his waist. They got to keep him locked up because he the wildest motherfucker ever, right? You know, they show that part. Then they'll show them when it's the white dude, he coming in slick with the suit, slick hair, he turning himself, he tell him when he coming. You know what I'm saying? They dragging the nigga in, right? Because he's just too wild to contain. But then now, and it could be the same crime, and now he walking in with a lawyer, slick hair, looking smooth, walking with his wife, smiling like ain't nothing wrong. Like it's a different image. So they selling that image, right? That image, that what they sell every single day of the week. If that's all you watching, and when we came up, we didn't have cable and a million different channels, so we watched everything, right? And that made us that gave us a way of thinking about everything that they talking about. And the way they portray us is how we think about our own self and how we think about the other people, right? They commit a crime. Hey, that crime ain't that bad. Ain't nobody die. You know what I'm saying? But the black dude, oh, he dangerous. I'm scared. Look how they got him chained up. He can't even, what the fuck? Right? So now that, you know, that has, you know, over time, that, you know, if you're not a thinker, if you're not somebody that think forward or learn how to critically think, right? And that's another part. We don't never learn that unless you have that in you. You never learn how, because that's a skill that you have to work on. You have to be able to think, right? If you're not a critical thinker, and this go for black people, white, anybody, because we all get caught up in the same bullshit. But the way they present it, and they letting you know either you gonna go with what we going with, or be like, no, it can't be. Well, you ain't give me the whole story. You only gave me half of it, but you're making me think this is the ending. I don't even know the ending, but now I think I know the ending. I don't know the ending because it ain't in yet, right? But they showing you and what they giving you, and they feeding things into your mind. If you're not somebody that get to the level where you can think critically and get rid of what they leaving there for you just to absorb, then you're gonna get caught up in that, man. The media is set up in a way that it's for everybody to get caught up in it. It ain't just for black people, but as far as black people, that's what we're talking about right now. And the ones that just stay stuck in that and never learn to think critically, that's where they're gonna stay stuck. And they, everybody who get caught in that and don't think critically is gonna be stuck in that down there and stuck in that. Oh, this is them, that's them, that's them, this is us, this is who I am. They telling you who you are, and you believe in it. But when you think, more critically, you'll understand that ain't what it is. You know what I mean? So that's what it come down to in the end. It come down to people being educated and wanting to know about who they are and wanting to know more than what's, what they just feeding you every single day, 3 times a day, whatever. What news come on 2 or 3 times a day, right? Ooh. Right. And then at the end, they show a little duck. It's the sports, then the weather, then a little duck walking across the road. They make it all ha 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 ha. But I'm talking about just the format of the way they show it to you is the same everywhere. And if you see it, you'll be shocked to be like, what? It can't be. You can't start with the sports first and end with the bad shit, or like that format is designed in a way to make people believe everything they tell you. And for me as a black person, it didn't even matter before I knew thinking critically, I was just like, this can't be true. This can't be. It never hit me like, no. All the white people good, all the black people bad. This can't be true, right? So I never fed into that, but that's just me. But I'm saying once you get to a level where it's on you to accept what you've been given or look for another alternative to what they feeding you, and that's what I'm saying, like critical thinking. That's something that they should be teaching in grammar school for me, right? In elementary for me, because the kids need to understand it's more than just, okay, I told you this on that page, that's what it is. It's more than, okay, this is the test. What did you read? Now it's just about memory. It ain't about me even thinking. It's just about what I remember that you told me. So they don't teach us to think. We need to get into that, man. We need to be taught to think, and that would be a lot better than just taught to remember. What was this? 5 + 5, what's that? You know what I mean? So that's what it is to me, man.
Charlotte?
So when I think about the media, I think of 3 levels. I think of, as Black people, I think we have that need to know, right? Because I think back to us being repressed for so long, not being educated, not being informed. So now we have the media, and that's our way of knowing what's going on in the world, right? Even Juneteenth, right? Took us 2 years later. But I feel like we always have that need to know. We just need to know what's happening. And then as Tran said, yeah, there are those people who are savvy, who can identify the biases, and even which news outlets, like you mentioned, Fox, right? They have a bias one way. And then we have MSNBC, and they may have a bias another way. So we need to be taught that, yes, you need to identify those biases, because I feel like there's always manipulation in the media, including the format, like Tran said. But I also feel like they use it as a distraction. Like if something detrimental is happening to our community or something is wrong, they're going to throw out something that's totally out of left field to distract us, so we're not focused on that thing that we really need to be concerned about. Okay, so we're busy over here following all their little I'm trying to think of the word, like but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like they give us, little gifts over on the left side to just keep us distracted and confused, so we don't come together again and focus on what's really happening and what we need to focus on. And then there are some people like you with this network and this show who use media to educate, to inform, right? I think of you. I think of Jesse Williams. When he wins his awards, he gets up there and he informs us all about social issues, even though, has nothing to do with his award. But then he takes the media and he uses it for his gain to inform all of us. And again, there are certain people that'll do that. So if we can think critically and identify those biases, like Tran said, but then flip it and be able to inform and empower and strengthen us, with that media, it can be a very powerful thing. But we do need to also recognize how that machine, again, will distract us. Even in terms of those stories like Tran said, or, I can tell you personally those COVID numbers every day, instill a fear in you, right? Because what's the ultimate gain? To get you to want to get the vaccine, right? Because you don't want to be in those thousands of numbers they keep projecting that grow higher and higher every day. So that's what I think about the media. I think it's a trifecta, and we have to kind of be able to identify those biases and be able to flip it and use it, for us.
Kev.
Well, I think if you go back to the beginning, I think that's if you start from the beginning, you will understand why, as a community, we still use or rely on the media um, to drive our thoughts and the way of thinking. Back in the day, it was so limited in the access of information. We relied on rumors, relied on, hearsay to find out simple information, and then TV exploded, and you got all this information just fed to you through this box, and everyone was like, wow, I get to experience everybody's experiences. I get to see what everybody is doing all over the United States. In fact, all over the world. So it was just, we gravitated to that because it meant us getting the information, that exposure to what was out here in our living rooms. So I think that's why it's entrenched in us as a community to buy into it. That's why we buy into it. But they have used that mentality against us. And we've talked about it earlier. Because we're gravitated to it, we believe into it so much, and they use it to just feed us this disinformation. They and have us to believe the things that they want us to believe is correct and true, And so what we can do to change that, to combat that, right, is to use alternative sources. Your program, HRap, is a great example. You're unfiltered. There is no one feeding you a topic or agenda to expose or to lead your listeners into. So, as a community, the only way we can combat what's being driven to us is to use that social media, use alternative programs and platforms to understand the truth and not buy into what's being fed. And that goes across the board. That goes into entertainment. It goes to sports. It goes to just our regular news. Personally, I do not watch the news anymore. Like Trey was saying, man, it's a formula used all over the country, and I can attest to that. This is what drove me away from watching news. I would be in California, and it's the same format that is back home in Louisiana. I would go to Florida. It's the same format. How is that so? It's because it's a one source. It's a national agenda being driven by the powers to be to have us believe what they want us to believe, to have us against who they want us to be against, to pit us against each other racially. All these agendas are being driven because it's a huge distraction. That's why I don't even buy into it. I don't feed into it at all. And I use alternative sources to get my news and to keep me updated. And as a community, that's what we have to do. But it's so hard when something has been entrenched into you as a child that this is true and this is valid. So that's the problem. That's how it got started. And the only way we can get away from it is to preach to our children, don't believe the hype. As our man said, don't believe the hype.
Flavor.
Because that's all it is. It's just hype. It's a program. And that's one of the other things too. If there's anything that I can get through to some of my grandkids and kids, is that understand this is a program. This is not an independent source. It's a program. And programs cannot be trusted to give you a valid and legitimate source of information.
I'm going to take a piece of each one of y'all statement. The programming. Let's not ever minimize the fact that it is called television programming for a reason. They're programming you to think what they want you to think. You don't even realize it, as Trans said. They setting this up. So first and foremost, the group that is the greatest threat, we're gonna criminalize them. If you don't believe it, my cousin Yolanda used to date this Nigerian brother named Victor. We was talking about relations between brothers over here and brothers over there. He told me flat out, he said, man, don't believe that. He said, do you know the reason I came to America? I was like, why? He said, because when I was in Africa, I was in Nigeria, all I read was The Source, Right On Magazine, The Jet and Ebony. He said, I thought America was a black country. So I wanted to come over here and be down with the brothers. He said, my people over there used to laugh at me. Yeah, go on over there with the Americans. Go on over there with the Americans. He said, because they knew it was more white people over here. He didn't. So he get over here. He's sitting in the hotel room. He turned on the news for the first 2 weeks. He don't know nobody. He ain't got nobody to talk to. So what you do, that's what you naturally do. You turn to the TV. I'm in America and watching TV. He said the first 6 months he was here, he was scared of black people because all he saw was black people robbing, killing, and stealing. He said after that, he started working because he's an airplane mechanic. He get out of school 18 months later, he working with black people now. And he realized, oh, y'all just like me. He said, then he started hating white people for telling the lies. And then he said, then he started working with white people. He said, hey, y'all like me too. And he realized it was a system. And then he said his pops and his family over there was like, we told you, you thought America was different, but it's not. And that kind of thing, that triggers me to what Charlotte said. Charlotte said that, Tran said that, and here's something else. Tran stumbled upon what Marva Collins was teaching in the 60s. Don't teach your kids how to count. Don't teach your kids how to read. Don't teach your kids history. Teach your kids how to think. And then when it's time to learn math, science, history, English, it's nothing to them because then they'll be able to walk through it. We don't, and all three of y'all said it. Ain't nobody thinking. They just like, Man, you can put John Kennedy was seen at Evergreen Plaza, and half of Chicago gonna run out to the plaza, even though they don't even exist no more. How many celebrities have died on Facebook that's still alive today? Bobby Brown done died at least 3 times on Facebook. I remember, show you the crazy part. I even did it. Mr. Media himself. I don't know where I was at. I was either on Twitter or I was on Instagram. And somebody on Twitter said Biz Markie died. Rest in peace, Biz Markie. My man Odin Polynice, he retweeted it. And I think Master Ace retweeted it. And they know him. And then 2 hours later, Big Daddy Kane put up a video. Hey, man, Biz, my man, to protect his family, I'm going to need y'all to stop doing the rest in pieces. I took mine down. Other people left them up. So now the lie continues to get bigger. So y'all right, man. Kev hates social media. He don't hate it, but he thinks social media victimizes us. And that's just a perfect example of how this whole media game is being played. Miss Dow, 6th grade, William B. Gladstone Elementary School, taught us new periodicals, news media, and almanacs. She's like, almanacs and periodicals have to be the truth because people are going to reference those. They can say what they want to say on the news. Tran Brown is the new president. Tran at work. Everybody walking up to him, shaking his hand. Man, you the president. Like, of what? Of this shift? And people will go with it. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to do is stop playing the media game and stop allowing people to program us. I've had a friend, she's a therapist. And me and her was going back and forth about this one subject 2 weeks ago. And she said, you know what, you're right, B. We got to stop visualizing black men as we see them in movies and on TV. And that's why sisters and brothers don't get along no more, because they looking at brothers like they are on TV. And they're not taking y'all as the people that y'all are. And he said, and I was like, and brothers doing the same thing with the sisters. So no, just because she got braids don't mean She gonna be chicken necking and acting a fool and loud and clapping when she talk. That don't mean that. And just because she got her hair done in a professional way does not mean she is the most she has etiquette or class. They could be totally the opposite. So, this is just something that we need to do, and we need to get involved, and we need to just stop doing stuff that other people put in front of us versus talking to each other, getting to know each other. And it goes back to last week. Remember, I said I try to tie in all my shows. The show on Tuesday ties into this one, and this one gonna tie into next Tuesday. We just start speaking to each other. We could defeat half the media. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? That right there destroy that whole you get killed, and like just because you a dude stand on the street doing whatever you want to do don't mean you just some wild, ignorant gangbanger, shoot them up, waiting to kill somebody. Maybe that's just the only option you thought you had, so you took it. And you're not evil or nefarious just because you do it. It's just what it is. The powers that be agree 1 million of reparations and the Africans, but catch the service that renewed. Man, I need some glasses. We have to leave the United States of America. What percentage do you think would take that deal to leave America for $1 million? Hey, whoever that is, what's the man? GZDR4EV. Thank you for tuning in. Your new face. I hope to see you again and again and again. To be perfectly honest with you, and I present that to the panel. My man said the government gave us $1 million, and part of the deal was to head up. What's the percentage do you think will take it? About 5%. That's me, and I'm really reaching at 5. I don't think a lot of people would take that because, in my personal opinion, I'm listening. I'm gonna listen to y'all after this. In my personal opinion, we still too caught up with trying for approval. Me, I'm part of that 5%. I'm the fuck out of here. Because $1 million in American money in Nigeria and Ghana and Botswana is a whole lot more money than it is over here. So I'm going to take it over there, and I'm going to be over there living like motherfucking Mark Zuckerberg instead of living here going, if I can make this last this next 30 years, I'm straight. Because over in America, you're going to be counting that $1 million. Over there, you killing it. I'm listening, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody can take it. Whoever want it, take it.
Well, for me, so I'm going to say, my wife is Liberian. She and her family came over here as, people trying to escape the fucking horrors that was going on. It was a civil war in Liberia. I'm taking the paper, right? And I'm up. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. They got fat. And another thing, my brother-in-law, he got under Donald Trump, he got what you call that shit when you get kicked out the country. Say it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it either. He was talking about doing all the Mexicans like that when he first came out.
Deported.
Yeah. He got deported under Donald Trump. And it was crazy because, just on a little side note, when Donald Trump first was coming out because he was here when he was running. And he was ha, and he's laughing like a motherfucker, thinking he only meant Mexicans. No, he meant everybody that ain't from here.
Right.
And if it's a way to get your ass up out of here, you gone. And he gone. But I'm just saying, I'll take the money and run, man, because you can still live a great life and shit. I'll come visit my mom and daddy, whoever's still here. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? But I have to move on. I have to move on, man.
I blew it up. I'm gonna read it again, y'all. My bad vision is better on this. I just blew it up.
Okay, there you go. Read it again.
The powers that be agreed to $1 million reparations to all African Americans, but the catch is services rendered. We have to leave the United States of America. What percentage of us do you think would take that deal? Booyah.
Oh, percentage. You said 5. I'll give you 5, man. No, I say 10. I say 10%. Yeah,
10%. Charlotte.
I say maybe 20 because a lot of us are fed up, and we're ready to go. We just need a means to do so. But I also agree with you, Brian, that I think a lot of people are just gonna be here till they die, trying to catch that carrot that keeps dangling.
Get the fuck out of here, Kev.
Well, Charlotte said 20. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna say about 35%, right? Because at first, I was gonna go real low because I was thinking I'm getting $1 million, but no, I'm getting $1 million. My adult children are getting $1 million, right? My wife is getting $1 million, right? Her mother, so we're all getting $1 million. We could move on to somewhere where we can create our own destiny and not be so, restricted to the limitations that this country puts on us. So I think a lot of people would see it that way once they realize, well, no, my family isn't getting $1 million. Everyone in my family is getting $1 million. We could move on. So I think it would be even higher. I might even want to say 50-50, man, to be honest with you, when it's really understood.
Hey, man, I love your enthusiasm. I love your hope. Boy, I just don't see it. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like you said, if the powers that be agreed to give everybody $1 million reparation to all African Americans, but the catch is services rendered. We have to leave the United States of America. What percentage? I think that's a very low percentage because people think this is it. When you have a country full of people who ain't never left their block, but they're brave enough to say, this is the greatest country in the world. They ain't going no damn well, Kev.
You might be right, but I think the power of the dollar would influence some of these people, because I think when like I said, when I think they realize, oh no, it's not every family gets $1 million, every person gets $1 million. Oh, we out. We ain't turning, because you ain't turning down $1 million. You're actually turning down 10 to 15 million. You see what I'm saying? So I think in that aspect, when I really thought it through, I'm like, well, you know what? That number gonna be pretty big. That's my optimism. I would hope we would think like that.
I would hope, but I'll take it up to 10 with Tran. I'm gonna split hairs with Tran and Charlotte. I'm gonna go 15. You and Big Illinois on the same page. Y'all say 35 to 40. I don't think it's that high because we have bought into this. I see too, like, it's been times that I'm not gonna say any names, Kev, but you know this person. When I had my sports show and I made that statement, this is why I made that statement. I ain't going to no more movies where brothers or sisters ain't the stars. I ain't doing it no more. I'm tired of them being on these shows, yada, 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 begging for money. The entire chat room turned against me and said, damn that, I'm going to the show. You ready for this, Kev? One of the people who said, the first person who said, damn that, I'm going to the show, husband was an actor.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's why I said, I'll even come up to 15. Right between Tran and Charlotte, I'll go 15. Because, I literally said, I want to support your husband. She was like, damn that, the man must reign. And I was like, really? And a lot of those people never came back to my show. And all I said was, like, hey man, I got people who send me things that pretty much say, I hate white people every day. Did you see this? Did you see this? And I'm like, I don't hate white people. So stop sending me this stuff. I ain't no issue with them. I just want us to be better. But hey man, what is his name? GZ Doctor Forever. Hey man, thank you for the question. Thank you for the participation. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for both days. Please continue to support. Last question of the evening will be this. Would you take all your news from an all-black network? It's just, if BT had news, would you say, I'm only getting my news from them, Kev, Charlotte, Tran, and then we are out?
Well, personally, I think that would be a good theory, but it would be just a theory in my mind. I don't think you should ever get your news or your information from one source. For the simple fact of corruption, right? So, and corruption doesn't have color. You know what I'm saying? You know, so for me personally, I couldn't do it. In theory, it sounds great. It sounds fantastic, right? But personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't take one source and just rely it to give me everything unfiltered, without any, a certain narrative. It would be very difficult for me to buy into that. So, unfortunately, even though it sounds great, unfortunately, my answer would have to be no. I would have to have an alternative source because I want truth. That's my problem with the media today. We don't get truth, right? And I'm not convinced. And if I could be convinced that the source, that this black source was totally honest and unfiltered, then sure. Because in theory, executing that theory would be very difficult to me. So my answer would probably be no.
Charlotte?
Raider Kev took my answer. If there were two all black networks, that would be awesome. Because immediately when I saw that question, of course I thought BET, right? Groundbreaking, but I feel like little by little over time it's gotten watered down. I don't feel like it's black entertainment television anymore. And for the same reasons that Raider Kev just stated, and we've already talked about Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, right? Two black media moguls, and I don't feel like everything we get from them is for us. I don't get that FUBU feel. So I also would not 100% support one all black network for my news, but if we had two competing for each other, trying to put the truth out there, then I would divide my loyalties between them.
Tran,
the question was
to get your news exclusively from black folks, would you just go right there? Black folks, I ain't ABC, go to hell. The rest of y'all go to hell. I'm going right to the black network. No,
for me, I'm gonna take what I can from everything, and whatever means something to me, that's how I'm gonna have to, it's gonna have to be for me to decide, what it's gonna have to come to my gut feeling, right? Because black folks can mislead you too, right? We all understand it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So it ain't like just because you're black, I just you feel better, but the trust ain't all that. Black folks lead us astray as well, right? Again, it just come down to what how you feel, and and again, okay, I compare this to that and this to that, and I could come up with my own conclusion. And this is what it is to me, instead of just accepting what I had to take from everything. Again, I ain't really too like my guy was saying, I ain't the news. I was, it be times I get into it, when there's election, then I'm all into it, or when it's this or when it's that. But even that, you see, okay, well, they leading you in this certain direction. Even that, they doing that purposely. right? Because they want you to think like this. And then you might be thinking like that until you later down the line, like, damn, that ain't really how I feel, right? Because they told you. So again, it's just, man, I pick it up from everywhere, from any source I can get it from, right? Not necessarily that I always, once I get some information, I go and research it immediately. No, that ain't it. Maybe it'll sit with me and I'm like, oh, I don't know. That don't sound right. Or, oh, okay, I can dig that. But then I ain't going to come to a conclusion once I hear them say that, right? I still got to gather more information. So I'm just saying, I take it from everywhere. And then at the same time, when I look at media, right, and that's where it go back to. And then the news, it go back to how this whole shit is set up. It's set up like that purposely. So it ain't like, somebody else gonna come along and just change the whole format. Because they probably, maybe they can or they will. But I'm just saying, you know how it is. Like, it was white frats before it was black frats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was white gangs and mobs before it was black gangs and mobs, right? Right. So we copy they shit. You know what I'm saying? We do what they do. The black men was treating black women like white men was treating white. Like, I mean, we get a lot from our oppressors, right? And we keep on continuing that same legacy. So all I'm saying is, I just kind of, it don't even matter where. I mean, it's more comforting coming from a black person, but they could be misleading you too, right? So my whole thing is, I just don't put all my trust into somebody on TV telling me something. I can take it and say, all right, and then from there, I had to find a way for me to either believe this or that. You know what I mean? And sometimes I just go, it could be or it might not be, right? So it go either way. So I can't put, like, again, because there's black people that I know that are intentionally, that I know, that's good friends, that they intentionally mislead me, right? And that's where I'm going to get my information from. And they telling me something that's sending me off in another direction. That's what, I mean, that's human nature, man. People gonna, try to manipulate you. And that's what it is. People, I done been in some relationships with women. And they done manipulated me. They didn't cheated on me. That's fine, right? But I'm just saying, I trusted in them. And then I did it again. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I did it again. But, shit, I said, you know what? I got to trust somebody, right? But still, at the same time, you just got to know. It got to come down to what you can accept and what, in the end, what you most believe is the truth and what fit with your values and how you look at it, right? Because that's the only thing you can do. You can't really prove. You could look through some books and find some, references to some things, but what can you really prove? Because somebody else can, I don't know. Like I say, it's hard especially with new information. You just got to go with, what's comforting to you, right? So that's why I say it don't really matter, man. Like I say, it make me feel better coming from a black person, but knowing black people and knowing me, because shit, I give false information too, right? Depending on the situation, right? You know what I mean? That's regular, right? That's just what it is, right? So you just got to take what you can get, even when you go to church, okay? Church. Now that's where you think everything should just be, this is what it is. It's not that. The pastor, really, he got relationships with everybody in the congregation. They paying him the money, they giving their dues, they tithes, they, like, just a small example. My wife, when we first got together, when we was getting ready to get married, like I told you, she a Liberian, she Christian, go to a Liberian church, a Liberian pastor. But I feel like, for me, I came from Chicago. I know pastors like Bishop Magic Don Juan. He's a pastor with a church, with a congregation, right? So my view of what a pastor is, I'm already looking at you sideways, like what you on, right? Like you on something else besides just, giving that, whatever truth you give it. And that's what it ended up being. We go to him, we need to have she tell me, hey, we need to go talk to him and, have a sit down. I'm in my mind, I'm like, why? I don't need him to tell me how to love. We here right now. We gonna get married, right? So what is he gonna tell me, right? Oh, you need to do this and do that, blah 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 blah. He's just blah blah blah, and I'm steady waiting. Like, okay, so what is your end game? Oh, so for me giving you this, I need $500. That's where it came in at the end. I need $500. What? For what? I didn't want to know that you're serious about getting married. What? Huh? I paid him the $500, but he was taking advantage of somebody in his congregation, right? And I saw that, and that right there. Now I'm looking at him. You Don Juan, right? That's who you are. I don't even get out of here. You in it for what you're trying to get from it. That's it. You couldn't even explain why. But okay, with the wife, you the pastor. You got you in your stature is, she looking up to you. I'm looking at you like, no, dude, you a hustler. You on the same shit that I already I came into it, understanding that. And I'm just like, I'm listening, waiting till, okay, let's get to the, what we going with this? Oh, $500. That's, now a congregation member that pay tithes got to pay for you to, what? That don't even make sense. But again, right, that's a hustle. That's your hustle. But now, this is our relationship. You're a hustler. So now every time I see him, still, when you coming to church, Brother Brown, I'll be there. Now I'm lying like he was lying to me. And I'm looking right in his eyes, shaking his hand. Like, yeah, buddy. And ain't nothing you can say. Cause again, when I was going to the church, I take what I can get from the service. Whatever I can take from the, his presentation is what I take. I ain't gonna just go there thinking he's phony and not thinking I can't take nothing. I'm gonna take something from it. Anything I can take from it. But I'm not just accepting everything. Right? You know what I mean? So that's what it is, man. It's about, the people that you're dealing with, and everybody is, it just got to be upon you to accept what's reality and what's logical to you, and the rest of it, let it go. Don't even dwell on it. You know what I mean? Accept that what's logical, and that's how you, at least for me, that's how I come to my conclusions, or come to okay, this is what I think, based on a whole lot of other information I can't really prove. This is what I think based on that, right? You know what I mean? So that's how I take it in. I don't go no further than that, man. You know what I mean? But I know everybody they feeding you some bullshit because it's something, they got an agenda. Somebody got an agenda, right? So you can't just accept everything. You just gotta, you gotta strain it, put it in the strainer, and whatever's left, that's what you take. The rest of that is gone.
Hey, my uncle used to say, chew up the meat, spit out the bones.
There you go. Same thing.
Hey, our good brother said this. That's how reparations should have been presented to Congress, instead of us just saying we need reparations and still want to stay here. It may move faster. They don't want us here. They will be glad to put themselves in debt to get rid of us. They wouldn't even, at $55-60 million, they wouldn't even put themselves in debt. It's only 55-60 million of us. They wouldn't even put us in debt. Even if it's 100 million, they wouldn't put them in debt. But I don't believe they truly want us to leave. Because if we leave, our creativity leaves, the work that we do leaves. Most of us are teachers. Most of us are first frontline workers, meaning paramedics, firemen, cops, security guards, Uber drivers, cooks, waitresses, waiters, servers of all kinds. So they don't really want us to leave. They just want to. They want to be in control of us. But hey, man, I feel you on that. And the only reason I believe a lot of people would take reparations and stay is because it's this one contract that they signed that say we deserve it, and that is the Constitution. Say we supposed to get that. Period. No. But you got another thing. But we about to end the show, man. Please come through Tuesday. I will welcome you here Tuesday. And I will welcome your commentary. And now that I see how to blow it up and I can see it, thank you. But hey man, I'm gonna take the Rated Kev, Big Illinois. That's Ant. If you don't know it, Tran. The Rated Kev, Big Illinois approach and say, hey, I'm gonna take that black news straight up and down. It might not be the smartest way to go, but I'm gonna go just because. And I'm gonna chew up the meat, spit out the bones on the black news too. I'm just hoping. My hope is just like Rated Kev and Big Illinois. They say 35 to 40. I'm hoping the news that'll be all black will be like Jet Ebony. You can trust the stuff that was in Jet Ebony and Essence magazine. So I'm hoping it'll be like that, but I understand everything everybody said is 100% agreeable. But if they create a track record of telling the truth like they did when we were younger, it will be nothing to watch them. With that being said, man, thank everybody for tuning in. Thank everybody. Again, follow the screen, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. It's a little bell. Hit that notification. You'll get a notification every time I come on. I will be back Tuesday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I used to come on at 5, and now I come on at 6 because I was thinking about it, and I got stuck in traffic one day, and I was forced to come on at 6. I was like, yeah, this is better. But this is way better instead of hitting some old lady. But thank y'all, man. If y'all on the YouTube side, again, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification. If you're on the Spreaker.com side, hit that heart, hit that share button, like, subscribe to Build for This Network. This your man HRap B. I'm gonna hit it off just like I do every week, man. I want to salute to the people that inspire me and I get information from them. My man Lamont King, he come on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube. The Ghetto Boys, Tariq Nasheed, Nori, Talib Kweli, Ray Grady, Zoe Williams, Corey Holcomb, Craig Smith, a.k.a. Craig Facts, Al Sharpton, the Queen of Hip Hop, Heather B. I don't care what y'all got to say, Heather B, the Queen of Hip Hop. I don't want to hear none of that. Is he Shantae or Heather B? The rest of y'all shut up. Just because you got a big booty don't make you the queen. Clay Kane, Sister LaRee Daniel Favors, my favorite radio host in the whole wide world. The Elder, Joe Madison, Walking Encyclopedia, and one of the most informed, intelligent, well-versed in everything. I've never heard anything come up and he didn't know a whole lot about it. Dr. Greg Carr, do yourself a favor. Google Dr. Greg Carr. The man got so much information. He is a walking encyclopedia. And the lady who inspires me, the lady who inspires a lot of the people who I got on that list, and she's super dope. Her name is Karen Hunter. She has this thing called Narrative with a K. You spell narrative with a K. It's its own entity. She dropping nothing but factual history. She got professors from law school. She got people, agricultural experts. She got a dude in there teaching you how to read hieroglyphics. She got her own social media, like her own version of Twitter called Nubia. It's a part of Narrative. I think it's like $100 a year to be a part of it. She got her own gear. She's trying to make something that's going to be here for 1,000 years. 1,000 years from now, our great-great-grandkids, great-great-great-great-great-grandkids, great-great-grandkids going to be able to reflect back. She's doing nothing but dropping knowledge. She double-check, triple-check, and quadruple-check everything she put on there. She one of the dopest people in the history of the world, even though I've been disagreeing with her a whole lot. She's still super dope. Sometimes she be getting on the thing, going a little too hard. But I got love for her. She's super dope. And I'm just like my show, I don't need everybody to agree with me. And everybody don't agree with Sister Karen Hunter because she, that's the way the world goes. Just because I don't agree with you, don't mean I ain't got love for you. Don't mean I respect everything that you say. I don't care about agreeing. Tran and Big Illinois can attest to that. They done been around me arguing for 4-5 hours about the Pistons and Isaiah Thomas being better than Michael Jordan. So,
whoa,
hey.
Let's not get into that right now.
So
let's not get into that, my guy. This is extend your program.
Right. So, man,
the sponsors to drop off on you, bro.
So Yeah, man. I want to thank everybody. I want to say happy birthday to my man Drastic, aka Crumb. I want to say
happy birthday, Dress.
To my man, number one Chief Rocker Jersey. Happy belated birthday to number one Chief Rocker Jersey, Vine. And anybody else who having a birthday, man, celebrate it. Enjoy your life. I want to thank y'all. Man, when I logged on today, state of Illinois had me hot. I was ready to choke somebody. I forgot about that. I got it out of my system now. Appreciate y'all, man. And y'all know how I end every show. Salute to Reggie O'Shea, a.k.a. Combat Jack. Dream those dreams. And man up, woman up, and live those dreams. Since life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. And y'all know what else I'm about to say. Salute to Craig Smith. And y'all already know, if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Shut it down. The crown holder. DJ Matt